worries on my mind, it's been a tough week. My life feels a void, there's something that I need. My supplies on the table, I grab a comfy seat. I need to craft to put my mind at ease. Crafting changed my life, it mends my soul. In my happy space, I'm in full control. It's crafting time, craft my troubles away. Give me a world of color to brighten up my day. Crafting videos on, searching what I can do. Sipping on my drink, feeling inspired and new. Crafting's good for the soul, it's so true. Bringing beauty into the world through as I craft my spirit.
Live from the Sunshine State in Miami, Florida, here is the Gifted Crafters Morning Show with Nancy.
Good time. Ooh, time to get our craft on. Ooh, time to have fun. Ooh, time to feel good.
Hey Gifted Crafters, and good morning to the Gifted Crafters out there. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Gifted Crafters Morning Show. Good morning everyone. See everyone tuning in from Texas, Chicago, Illinois, Wyoming, North Central Texas. Awesome. Hello to everyone out there. Hey, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys had a great day yesterday, because today is Friday. Yes, TGIF. Yes, it's Friday, everyone. So everyone has a little bit of pep in their step today because the weekend is finally here. So good morning. Okay, I see everyone chatting away. Looks like everyone is coming on board. And if you're new here, my name is Nancy with GiftsHQ, and I host this little daily sessions in the morning to just kind of get us going into our crafting mojo here. So I hope I get to inspire you to get some projects done this weekend. And we're going to do a little project this morning that I thought would be kind of fun to do for a Friday. So I hope you really enjoy this today. Good morning from Maryland, Oklahoma City, Canada. Wow, thank you for joining. Hey, wonderful. So I think everyone's kind of rolling in. So if you haven't done so already, grab your favorite cup of whatever your favorite drink is. No judgment here. I'm actually just having my water. You guys follow me, you know I like to have my water in the morning, water at night, and then, after my water, I'll have my little cup of coffee. So for right now, just the water. So welcome. I see people tuning in. Okay. All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. Everyone's kind of settling down now. Alrighty, so we have a couple of things to let you know about. One thing I'm really excited about, because it was a goal that we kind of set this year. We're getting really close to 10,000 subscribers, guys. It's so amazing. I am really excited about that, and I'm getting really close. So if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and consider hitting that subscribe button, and the little bell notification will let you know when I'm on so that you can just jump in and do a little live with us. So I just want to say thank you for all of you who are subscribers. I really appreciate it. I love all the support that I'm getting from you guys. And if you are not a member, you may want to consider doing the membership because we have a lot of fun there too. Okay, so let's just jump into our very first thing here. Now, remember our membership. There's 3 tiers there. I think we've got them on the screen there. So just consider joining if you haven't already. Okay, so if you have gotten your little cup of whatever it is you have, you may be hungry and want a little snack. So let's just kind of roll that out. And today we're doing the food truck. So we're back on the food truck again, and I've got all the little goodies on there, pastries, all kinds of things that you can get. Donuts, tea, coffee, cookies. We even have some healthy stuff going on there. Yeah, we've got a little unicorn going across as well. We do it all here, right? So grab your snacks, get yourself settled. No calories, no worries. This is the little virtual food truck that, you know, they usually have all kinds of snacks when you go to a quilting or a sewing retreat. So why not have one here, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our first segment because I've got quite a number of things to let you know about. So let's talk a little bit about some of our crafting news because we've got a few things to let you know about. So some of the few things that are going on out there. First, we got a couple of reminders for some stuff. If you're in the New Orleans area, the free Rick Rack lunch bag sewing class is happening today at 11 a.m. at the Algiers Library. The supplies are provided and there's no experience necessary. And then don't forget, today we have the Quilters documentary that's going to be coming out on Netflix today. So I'm kind of excited about that. So this is a little documentary that's going to be following some Missouri inmates who are quilting for foster kids. And it sounds like it's going to be really powerful. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I'm hoping it's good. We'll compare notes on Monday and see how it ended up coming out. So if you get to stay in today, maybe you want to watch a little movie there, you've got a little documentary you can check out. Okay, and if you're in Charlotte, Michigan, tomorrow is the Spring Makers Fest. So head over to the Eaton County Fairgrounds from 10 to 5 for fiber fun, shopping, and inspiration. And that is that little bit of news was brought to us by one of our newest members here, Heather. So thank you for sharing that information. And guys, if you want to share any information, maybe you have a little event or something that you're trying to get out, there's the announcement form. Go ahead and fill that out. Or maybe you just have a birthday that you want us to know about, fill out the form and we'll give you a little shout out there. So go ahead and find the link there below. Okay, so this is a little heartwarming and charitable news from Pensacola, Florida. The Seville Rotary Club just donated over $12,000 to a group called Backstitch Outreach, and they teach kids how to sew. So this gift includes money, sewing supplies from local businesses, and they help launch a free 6-week program for kids from the age from 7 to 18 at the Pins and Needles Sewing Studio. Isn't that cool? So the goal for them is to give kids real life skills, boost their confidence, and keep them busy with something creative and fun after school. And each student will get a sewing kit and a machine to use, and they can learn skills that will just last them, their lifetime. So it's really amazing. So a big cheer out to the Seville Rotary and Backstitch Outreach for making that difference one stitch at a time. And you can learn more about that at the SevilleRotary.com website. Okay, so we've got some last minute stuff that just came on our radar. So just wanted to make you guys aware. If you ever wanted to design and stitch your own embroidery projects, that's completely in the hoop. There's a free virtual class that you can attend. It's happening today, May 16th at 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and that's Central Time. And you still have time to join. So it's going to be a In the Hoop designer class that's hosted by embroidery pros from Dime and Embroidery Garden. And you're going to learn how to add zippers, buttonholes, faux mitered corners, and make fun things like mug rugs, keychains, and coasters, all of it in the hoop. So that's pretty cool, and it's a free event, guys, and it's virtual, so anyone can attend. You just need to register, and everyone who does do that and registers, you're going to get a free embroidery design. But if you can't make it at that time, they're going to have a replay within 48 hours, so still get yourself registered. Pam Heller from AccuQuilt will be the host, and it's all free, and you can get, yes, I said free. And you can get more information and register at their website, www.inspiredbydime.com. Okay, so just go ahead and go to their website, click on Inspirational Socials, and then look for Be an In the Hoop Designer. Okay, and that's all the news I have for you today. So quite a number of things going on, some from all over the world and some even virtually. So no excuses. You guys can get in there and get something done. So I hope you guys really enjoy that. Okay, now that we've got our crafting news on to the day, let's get on to our project, okay? So I wanted to do something that was a little fun. As you recall, yesterday, we kind of made our pot holders. I went ahead and finished it up by doing, we did a stitch all the way around, and then I did a second stitch all the way around. So I've got 2 stitches, and let me see if we can get a little close up here so you can see the stitching. So we've got 1 line here and 1 line here going all the way around. Whoops, sorry about that. There we go. So you can see here that kind of secured it in place. And I've got 2 great pot holders with this one quilted in the front. We quilted in the ditch, and then in the back, it's just nice and clean. So now I have 2 pot hold, or not pot hold, you can use them as pot holders, but I'm going to be using as a table topper to kind of put hot things on top when I bring stuff to the table. So it kind of works for me. So that was a lot of fun putting that together. So now I just wanted to do something totally fun that is pretty cool. And so I have these fabric placemats that I picked up from the dollar store. And, you know, you can get fabric from all kinds of places, right? So these are fabric placemats. They look pretty cute at the dollar store. Nice little quality. So see that here. And then you turn it to the back, and you can see here. Not bad. Pretty neat on its own, but I was wondering, what can I make with these placemats? They are fabric. Yeah, very nice, right? They are very nice on their own. They're not bad, but a little boring-ish. And then I thought, you know, I've already got a couple of placemats, and if you guys follow me from before, you see that I've made some other ones. But I thought I'm going to kind of upcycle some of these and do something a little different with it. But we did some placemats that looked something like this, if you guys recall. This was one that we made with prairie points and with a little bit of a cowboy type of fabric. And then in the back, we kind of had the little cowboy theme going. So those were really fun, and we did different ones because it was a fabric that had a really fun little print. And so we kind of, changed it up a little bit. I decided to use the little characters on here, and I thought it was really cute. So we had fun doing these. So I was kind of like, well, I've already got some placemats because we already did these. So what else can I do with these? Because the colors are really pretty. And I thought, yeah, you remember the Prairie Point one? Yeah, 1 Minute Tips. She was there, so she kind of remembers that. And so I didn't want to just do yet another placemat. So I thought, what could I do? And so I kind of kept playing around with it and, bending it and seeing, well, there's a lot of things you can do. I mean, off the top of my head, hey, you could make a purse, right? Super easy. But I kind of wanted to make a little pouch that would hold some bigger, bulkier items, right? You've made projects out of dollar store placemats. Yes. And they're so much fun to do, right? So I thought, after kind of fiddling around with this, I went ahead and I made something that came from this. I made this. And so this is what it ended up being. So little pouch here. You can put stuff in it. And it has a nice little button that I added here. Let me give you a little bit of a close-up here. There we go. And so I thought, this would be really neat for me to be able to put bigger supplies. Like I can fit my entire scissors in there and still have plenty of room. So I wanted to just kind of throw some stuff in there that I can kind of grab on the go. Love this. You had me at dollar store. Yeah, I mean, $1.25. I mean, you can't go wrong, right? Here it is. $1.25. This is not the $5, the whatever section that they have. They are $1.25. So I thought this would be fun. Let's do something fun and a little bit different. So you can totally just make this little pouch. You can even add a strap and have this as a purse. I mean, there's so many things that you can make with that. But I wanted to go ahead and just do something like this really quick and a little bit different than, our normal stuff. So now the inside is okay, not that pretty. I could have made it a little prettier on the sides here, but I was just experimenting and wanted to kind of do something for me. So this will totally work just to put a couple of my things here. Now, in terms of a closure, I did do a button here, but it was more for decorative purposes. But I can add an elastic here and do a little loop, or you can do a little snap here or a little magnetic snap to kind of make this permanently close down or, open, and makes it a little bit more usable. So, it's something that is really quick, easy, and it's done with a dollar store placemats. So why not, right? So let's turn one of these placemats into a little pouch that you could use for some of your sewing accessories. Okay. All right. So let's come over now. This is why I love your channel. I'm on a fixed income and you show me ways to stretch the dollar. My granddaughters will love this as they're getting older. Yeah. And it's, you don't have to spend a ton of money. It's not always going to be a project with premium cottons, especially nowadays. People are really on a tight budget. So, let's just do something fun. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take the little tags off of here, and I'm going to snip this off as well. Nice idea, pouch for travel charges. Yeah, that's exactly. That's another great use for it. Yeah, because, those things can be a little bulky, and sometimes they're hard because some pouches are kind of small, and so they won't fit really, or you can't really get it closed right. So what I like about this, it's very roomy. You have a lot of space, and I can make it smaller or, it's a perfect size to fit scissors, you know, all kinds. Hey, I can even probably fit my little iron in here. I mean, look at all the space there is, right? So if I wanted to, there's tons of things you can put in here. So why not have it, right? So let's get going. This is so easy, guys. So easy to do. So I'm going to put this over here. So now the placemats are made out of, I believe it was polyester. Yeah, it's 100% polyester. So if you decide to maybe try to press this, make sure you're using a pressing cloth and you're not on high heat, right? Because it is polyester. So be wary of that. But I really don't think it needs any ironing. I mean, it's pretty good the way it is. So I'm just going to go with this. And let me set these over to the side. And let's get started on this. So first things first, you're going to decide which side you want to be on the outside, right? So we've got this one here, which is very pretty, but you also have this one here on this side. That's pretty as well. So if you're going to add other types of embellishment that will offset this, you can totally do that and then use this. Or if you maybe want to embroider your initials, right, you can do that too, or a little design, you know, whatever you want. This, since it's such a blank canvas, you can add anything to it. You can stick this on your embroidery machine, get a really pretty little design on here, and then use this as the outside piece, and you'll have the embroidery on the outside. That would be really cool. So the only thing you will have to kind of look at is where you're putting that embroidery design. If you're putting it in the back area, then you've got tons of space. But if you're going to put it in that front area, you have to kind of be mindful of where the flap is going to, you know, fall, and the area down here is kind of limited. So depending on the size of the design that you're using, you may want to shrink it down to this area here, or up here, or if you're just putting it in the back, then you've got a little bit more flexibility. So keep that in mind if you decide to embroider something on it. I think we're going to go ahead and use this as the outside piece because I think it's really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and just fold this in half. Okay. And then I have to kind of find that as knowing this is my center point. And then what I'm going to do is bring it down some more. And you have to decide how deep do you want your bag to be. You know, you can kind of go narrow, come all the way down here and have a really big flap this way. Or, you know, you can kind of go a little bit up and just have a smaller flap on the top. So depending what you want to do in terms of depth, you know, just kind of make that decision. And I think I'm just going to kind of keep it somewhat the same of what I had last time, which is maybe about here. So we're talking about 4 inches from the top here. We've got about 4 inches there. And I think that's totally fine. Can make it a little, actually, yeah, I'm going to make it just a little bit more, maybe about ½ inch more. It doesn't matter. You can do any size you like. I think that'll work. Okay, so we're going with that. And then I'm going to grab my sewing machine. Let me just bring this to the side here. Put this on top. And let me slide it over. I've got my little dish of some clips on here. Of course, it's a little magnetic one, and you guys know I have that galvanized steel behind my cutting mat, so of course it does hold it down in place. You can see that. And I think a few of you really like that, and you've gone off and you've got that at your local hardware store. And I think it's great because I think you guys are really gonna like how it helps you out when you're cutting. So let me slide this over here. Try to get the little legs down. Okay. And another cool thing about this project is that you get to play with your decorative stitches too. So you can do a really pretty decorative stitch all the way around the edge if you'd like. And depending, if you're using this side here and decide to do that decorative stitch, it'll really stand out with your different thread color. So that's pretty neat. Now, I'm not going to change my thread color. I'm just going to leave it as white, and I think that will work just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over. And a couple things that I'm going to do, first of all. I'm going to change my foot. And I'm going to go back to using my little guide here. Here we go. So I'm using the Stitch in the Ditch and Edge Foot Guide, and that's going to help me kind of keep everything lined up for this project. And then I'm going to turn this over, and we'll kind of start on this side here. Okay, let's see. I'm going to turn this around. And let me get this angled a little bit better. All right. Okay, I think we've got our light on. And try to angle this. I hope you guys can see that. Awesome. Hey, Crafty Puerto Rican. Good morning. Good morning, Annette. Alrighty, so you need some coffee, 1 minute tips. Awesome. All right, so let's get this party started. So I'm going to line it up. Now remember, this foot that we looked at yesterday, I gave a little bit of information on it yesterday, has a little guide on the bottom, but it's used to stitch in the ditch, but it's also used for edge stitching. And so I want to kind of demo the edge stitching part because we didn't get to really do that too much yesterday. So we've got the stitch in the ditch that we used in the seam yesterday. So today we're just going to bump it up against the edge here. And I'm going to go ahead and do about 1/8 of an inch of sewing all the way down here. And it lines up really nicely because you have it bumped up onto that edge. It really helps you to stay straight. And I'll also stay on the red line here. So that'll keep the guide, between this tape guide and the guide from the foot, it'll keep me nice and straight, which I really like. So I'm going to kind of move this here. I'm going to make my way down here. And I'm nice and snug up against the little guide there. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and I have my stitch length. I'm going to set it to about 3 inches, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my needle down. And let me just grab my little sewing foot down here. Tries to get away from me all the time. Okay. All right. I think we are ready to go. So on the fold here, I'm just going to go ahead and sew, but when we get to the other side, I'm going to do a couple of back stitches just to kind of reinforce that. So let's get this going. You just take a pause, readjust your hand. Okay, we're getting towards that end, so I'm kind of positioning myself so I can back stitch and then restitch again. And that's just going to reinforce that area because there's going to be a lot of pulling on there. So I want to make sure that that's nice and tight. I don't want to pull it and then all of a sudden it pops open. So I think that'll be great. So let me just grab my snips from behind me here in my drawer. It's going to be tons of little threads to cut off here. So I'll go ahead and cut off those threads, and then we're going to flip over and do the other side. Make sure that we're nice and straight. And I'm going to do the same thing, only this time we're starting on the other end. So I am going to start on this, and it's a little bulky. So I'll go ahead and put my needle down there. And then I'm going to go forward a little bit and then back stitch just to kind of reinforce that. So we'll go a little bit here, and then I'll back stitch. And forward again. There we go. Readjust my hands. Okay. And let's just take off the threads and snip these away. Okay. Left out a thread there. There we go. Okay, so, just that easy. You could just walk away with this just like that, right? But I don't want my edges to be on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this bag over because, like I said, I wanted this side to be on the outside. So I would normally say when you're going to turn these over that you would clip the little corners to give yourself a little bit more of a boxed edge, but it's just so tight right here that I don't think I can do that. Good morning, Heather. Oh, no power today. Oh my gosh, several tornadoes around us in mid-Michigan last night. Oh, how scary. We have several trees down on our 4 acres. Oh my gosh, Heather. Well, stay safe. I'm praying for you. Hopefully the worst is over and you can kind of relax the rest of the day. I know some of you guys have some really crazy weather out there. It's really getting hot down here. I'm kind of tuning in from Miami, and so it's pretty hot down in this area. But yeah, stormy tornado weather, that's a little crazy, but stay safe. Okay. I turned this over, and I'm just kind of popping out the corners here with my fingers. And kind of move this over to the side a little bit. There we go. And so you see here, I'm going to grab my little chopsticks, whatever you have that'll help you poke out corners. Go ahead and grab that. And it just makes it a little bit easier. There we go. And this side too needs to come out a little more. And just kind of play with it till you can get it to come out. These nails don't let me do anything, do they? And just be sure that when you're poking them out, you don't go too crazy and poke the hole right into the bottom of your bag, right? Definitely don't want to do that. Okay. Having a hard time with one little corner here. Come on out. There we go. It's getting there. Alrighty. That's good enough for now. Okay, and then you just kind of smooth it out with your hands a little bit. Now, could I have left it the other way around? Yeah, I could. But I wanted to do it this way because this is what I kind of like about it. I have it looking like, it looks like a little purse, right? Just like this. And it's got that little bit of an angle here. So it has a little bit, it almost seems like I took a little bit more of a seam allowance on the top than on the bottom, but I actually didn't. All I did was do the seam allowance and then flip it. And that naturally makes a little bit of that curve here. And so we got that little indentation here that kind of mimics like a purse. So you can see it here if we turn it around. Oh, Heather, you've had your emergency kit ready for the basement. We did take shelter. It was 70 miles an hour winds. It was nuts. Oh my gosh. Wow, 70 miles an hour, that's That's crazy. Well, bring your sewing machine down there too, just in case, right? Well, I would like to grab our favorite things. My gosh. Well, stay safe, Heather. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm bumping it up, opening it up here, and just kind of moving this along. I'm just going to do it a few more with my hands here. So yeah, Heather, that's crazy. That's crazy. Those tornadoes are going to be crazy. So if I'm not sure if you guys, maybe some of you guys know this. So when I first came to Miami, Florida, I came on an internship, and it was during the summer, and it was in Key Largo. I was working at a resort in the accounting department, and they had a hurricane. And I was from New York. I didn't know what hurricane was. And it happened to be Hurricane Andrew, which was like many, many, many years ago. And Hurricane Andrew, for those of you who know, was a really devastating hurricane for South Florida. And it was the craziest experience ever. It's kind of how I met my husband when I was doing this internship. And then, several years later, hurricane, and yeah, he's my husband. So you never know what these hurricanes can do to your lives. But yeah, it was a crazy experience. I had never even known what a hurricane was, but I found out real fast what that was. And it was nuts. It was really nuts. They evacuated us. I mean, it just tore up South Florida, and there was like nothing left. So it was a little crazy. But yeah, it's kind of the story where, my sister was visiting, and she came to visit me for the weekend just to kind of have fun because, I was working at this resort, and they had, all kinds of fun stuff. And so, there was a pool, there was the beaches, we're in the Keys, it was wonderful. And so she came to visit along with a cousin of mine and some friends, and we were going to have a great time. And that very first night, we had a great time during the day. And then at night, they woke us up. I don't know what time it was. I don't know, sometime in the middle of the night. Everyone was woken up from our sleep. They were banging on everyone's door. We were staying in like a staff housing area, and they told us we had to evacuate, that the hurricane was coming right for us. And so it was crazy because I didn't know where to go. And so called around to a few of the friends that I had just met. And I ended up calling who is now my husband. And, he was the one that told me, well, head up this way and you can stay with us. And luckily I saved you. Yeah, you saved me. So my sister had rented a car. It was a convertible that got totally destroyed. And we ended up going up north a little bit, just to the Kendall area, which is not too far away from the Keys. And it got destroyed. Everything was destroyed. There was nothing left. And it was crazy. We were in a house. It was raining inside the house. The roof was gone. I mean, it was horrible. It was just horrible. We had, ear pain from the pressure, and it was a night. Nobody slept. We all ended up huddled in the garage because it was the only place that we kind of felt safe, because the rest of the house, the windows were gone. It was raining inside. I mean, it was just a mess. It was a mess. Yeah. Yeah, you remember Hurricane Katrina was bad also. Yes, Faker McFake. That's true. That is true. But it was the first time my sister was visiting South Florida, and she didn't want to come back after that. She was just like, no, I'll stay up north. So yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy. I mean, there's so many stories just within that story. It's crazy. He's my hero. Yes. He saved us. Well, he had a pretty big apartment, and since it was my sister, my cousins, and others visiting, it was a lot of us. You were in Florida the week before Andrew hit? Yeah, the waves at Cocoa Beach were gigantic. Yeah. Yeah, Cindy, because it was crazy. Your brother's house was gone that day. Yeah, there were so many houses that just got flat. I mean, it was just crazy. It was crazy. A hug for your husband who never left. Yeah. So we ended up going to, he had a 2-bedroom apartment. And there was so many of us that we were like, okay, he wanted to go to a friend of his that he was house sitting for. So we ended up going to this house because it was a little bigger. We'd be a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, Marge, you had an apartment in Kendall in 1992 during Andrew. Me and the kids were visiting Florida. Came back in September and the apartment was still there. Awesome. Yeah. It was crazy, I can tell you, but we ended up going to this house of his that he was house sitting for, and the house just fell apart. Like, the roof was gone, the window and the whole frame, everything sucked out. I mean, it was too much. And then we ended up going back to his apartment afterwards, and his apartment was totally fine. So we probably should have just stayed there. But yeah, remember, it was just chaotic. Everyone trying to get water at the last minute. You know, they said the hurricane wasn't going to hit there. And then at the last minute, it made a little turn, a little wobble, came right for us and destroyed the entire town of Homestead. The Keys got impacted and it was just crazy. But yeah, so I ended up losing everything I had, the little that I had, because I came it was during the summer and I was doing an internship. And I was going back to school, back to the dorm, from there. So I literally had to start the school year with basically nothing. Had to kind of start all over again because everything got sucked out of the room. When I got back to the room where I was at, the mattress was like half outside of the window and half inside the room. That's how everything just got totally sucked out of the room. But yeah, your son was born in 1992. You remember that hurricane? Oh my gosh, Kathy. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, these storms can really change your life. So it's too crazy. So, okay, let's get back to our little project because we're almost done here, guys. So right now we have that little indentation shape now, which is great. And I really love that look. However, it does a little problem with the top here. So you have like this little curve here. So you can totally just do this with the little curve and just sew this down here. Or you can kind of just indent it this way and do that. And then when you flip it over, let's see if I can hold it down. When you flip it over, you'll have a nice little indentation like that. Or you can do it a little bit more precise here, just to give yourself that extra indentation. So it looks like a little envelope is basically what you're trying to see here. I know it's a little hard to see with the camera because it's the same fabric, but all you have to do is kind of decide how you want to do this. And you can totally bring it all the way down like this. And you'll make more of a flap that way. That's kind of what I did here. But I think this was just too much bulk. So what I ended up doing is I kind of pinched it here. And then I folded it to kind of bring it down and make that little triangle here. Okay, so I'll put some little clips here to hold it down. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. Put it down and then make the little triangle. And you can kind of measure this to get it exact, to make sure it's nice and symmetrical. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it for right now, but you can see this here. So what about the binding? No binding. We don't need any binding for this. You can do binding if you'd like, yeah, but we're not going to need that. We're just going to go ahead and sew this here. And I'm going to cut off some of this excess right here. And then use that as the flap and just move that down. And then you can put a cute little button or anything that you want here in the corner. So same thing as we did on the sides. just go ahead and sew this down and cut this. So we're going to do one little corner just so I can show you guys how to do that. Okay, let me just grab this machine here again. And grab my little foot. I'm going to take off my first clip. Remember, I'm just kind of... Oh, one thing I forgot to do. We need to change the foot. Let me just grab... I was using this little decorative foot earlier because I was playing with the decorative stitches that you can use. But if you have your J foot, go ahead and put that. I'm just going to leave this one on. It's what I have on hand. And then I'm just going to go ahead, position my needle. I have it over to the left here. And I'm going to go ahead and just sew that down. Let me grab the other clip, get that out. And that's it. That's going to just kind of anchor it down for me. And then I'm going to take the scissors and I'm just going to cut this bulk right off. And then what you can do is just do a decorative stitch that'll hold it down. And then you'll have a pretty little stitch on the other side. So let's go ahead and just grab my scissors here and I'm just going to cut this piece out. Just a little triangle piece. And then that kind of reduced the bulk a little bit. Now I can do a decorative stitch here, anchoring this down, and then that'll just hold this down and in place. And then I just do the same thing on the other side. And once I've done that, then I can go ahead and select a little button, or you can put a snap or whatever it is you want to put as your front closure. So let's just go ahead and stitch this part right here. And get this going. Take off my clip. There we go. And look how quick and easy that was. I mean, couldn't get any quicker than that. Go ahead and cut off that excess bulk. And now you can go back and just pick a decorative stitch that'll anchor this down and hold it in place. Okay, and then you can pick your little button, whatever it is that you want on the front. Quick and easy, and you got your little project here that you can give to any little girl, or you can use for your hold your little sewing supplies, scissors, things like that. Add a little snap here, and it just makes it so practical. And we just turned a little placemat into a cute little pouch. So isn't that cute? You know, again, you can give it a little press, but use a little pressing cloth to do that, since this is 100% polyester. Wasn't that quick and easy? I mean, super, super easy to do. So let's jump in. We've got about 10 minutes left, and I want to jump into our inspirational quote of the day. So let's go ahead and get that in. Alrighty, our today's quote of the day. Let's see what we have here. Where others just see scraps, you see beauty. And that totally fits our little theme for today, where we can take any little scrap fabric, or you can take, for example, these little placemats and turn them into like the cutest little pouches. Or all you got to do is add a little strap and you have the cutest little purse, right? Super, super neat and fun to do, really quick, very beginner friendly project. If you got little ones that are interested in sewing, here's a really fun project for them to do. I mean, you saw it. It was just a stitch here, anchor these down, and then you can have a lot of fun on the sides here, playing with decorative stitches. Check out to see what your machine has. Mine has over 130 built-in stitches, and I can tell you that I have not used all of these stitches. There are stitches on here that are really cute, and I would suggest just taking the little scraps, maybe the little pieces that you cut off to the sides, and just play with the decorative stitches on here so that you can really see what your machine could do. And then you may want to take those decorative stitches and just add them to the top here, and that'll just give it that little extra look to it, right? Don't forget to take your snips, and we're going to have to snip the little threads here on the ends. So go ahead and let me just do that. And that's it. And then I'll just pick a really cute little button to put in the front here. You can embellish it with all kinds of other things too, if you like. If you're sewing the sides and maybe you have some rickrack that you want to add here, you could do that as well, just to give it a little bit of an extra flair, make it a little different. Add some straps and make it a little purse. I mean, so many things that you can do. Cindy says, I wonder if you could get a $2 credit card holder made out of one of your other placemats. Yeah, totally. I'll go to the Dollar Tree. It would be a matching set. Yes, you can totally make one of those. Totally make one. I mean, it's just a really nice fabric to kind of work with, and it's almost like it's the fabric that already has the interface on it, right? Because they're really nice and they're very easy to sew with on your sewing machine. You saw how I just kind of glided. This is just plain fabric from the Dollar Tree, you know, so you can find all fabric in all kinds of different ways. So it's a nice way to just kind of use something that's already kind of put together. It's already got the liner in there, so you don't have to even sew a liner. You've already got a liner in here. You just have to kind of figure out, this was my little prototype. So, you know, it's a little kind of on the wonky-ish side because I was kind of trying to figure out what can I make with this, and I was sitting here playing with it. But you can totally make this really gorgeous, and just take a little bit more time, add some decorative stitches, and put all the embellishments that you want on this thing because they're really neat. You can even indent this a little bit more if you wanted to give it a little bit more of that little purse kind of look. So it's really a lot of fun. Have a blast with this. There's so many things you can do. Teach your little ones and get them to sew. Alrighty, so let's move over to our top comedy 5 because we've got some fun things for you. So yesterday, I think everyone had a blast with the crafting yearbook Superbita, right? So I think that everyone really loved it. We've got a lot of feedback on that, and you guys were having a blast with it. I guess because, you know, it is that time of the year for the graduations to come around, and it's just a lot of fun. So we're going to kind of do a little bit of an expansion on that. And then we thought that it would be really neat because you guys really loved it. So we decided to bring it back for another little encore. But with that encore, we added a little bit of some fun music. So I hope you guys really enjoy it. So here it is. Okay. So as you know, school's wrapping up. Graduation season is here and it's in full swing. So that just means one thing, yearbooks, right? All right, so in the spirit of cap and gown season, we will proudly present the Crafting Yearbook Superlatives. All right, and we're going to start with number 5. Most likely to forget why they walked into a craft room in the first place. All right. I'm guilty of that one. I spent a lot of time in my craft room. Gosh, really? All right, let's go to number 4. Most likely to travel with a travel-sized sewing kit just in case. I mean, why not? Doesn't everyone? You never know when you're gonna need it, right? Gosh, my husband complains a lot, doesn't he? Okay, number 3. Let's see, we've got most likely to label every container, including the trash bin. I just like to be organized. What's wrong with that, right? I mean, don't you guys like to label everything? We've got our machines to do it. You got the Cricut, you got the scan and cut, you've got your embroidery machine. You can make labels. Why not? Okay, maybe I'm a little obsessive about it. Okay. All right, number 2. Most likely to start a quilt because they're cold in July. It can be cold in Miami, right? Just because we live in the South doesn't mean that it can't be cold. We can do that. Okay, and number 1. Most likely to have shed a tear or two when their favorite fabric shop closed down. Yeah, we're all a little sad about that. That's okay. That's okay. We're a little sad on that one, but we'll be all right because new ones will pop up, right? They'll be here eventually. And there's new ones that we have never known were there, right? So those will be a lot of fun to explore and just find them. So that is our top 5 comedy. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Flow, so fun program. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Don't forget, guys, go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you really like the program we put together for you today. I will be back on tomorrow for our Saturday crafternoon, so it will be a little bit later. And we're going to probably just do a little project together. Gotta put my stuff all together for that. So I will see you again tomorrow. And if you're not able to join us tomorrow, I hope you can tune in on Monday morning. We'll see you bright and early right here on our morning channel. Okay, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate all of the support. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. We really love you guys and enjoy crafting away with you. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to be crafting with you soon. Bye, everyone.
So long for now, so long. Glad you stayed a while. Hope you liked my crafting style. Hope I left you with a smile. By now, keep your mind and space clutter-free. Hope your day is bright as can be. So long, my friends, till we craft once again. Bye now, stay crafting. See you tomorrow. So long, my friends, till we craft once again.